guys, welcome to the Rod Trip. Get Rod Rodriguez here, and it's the Rodcast podcast episode. We are with somebody who is crazy about action figures and has amassed quite a collections.
This podcast wouldn't be happening if it wasn't for this figure.
Really?
Yeah, let's say my gateway to this whole lore was, Henry Cavill.
Okay.
Netflix series, yeah.
All right.
So because of that, I got really interested into the, Witcher franchise. I read the books. Because I read the books, I read the first 5 books.
All right.
And then I wanted to track down this figure, and it couldn't be found anywhere I looked. Then, there were some places that they offer this figure, but I wouldn't pay astronomical prices for it.
Yes.
So I looked into Facebook Marketplace, and then fortunately there was one person selling it in the local area.
Okay.
And that person was June.
Oh.
The person who referred me to you, my friend.
Yes, the Hot Wheels guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it started all because of this. If it wasn't because of this, I wouldn't have met June.
Yes.
And I wouldn't have been introduced to you.
And when we met, we found out that I actually know his brother because his brother is also a DJ. All right. So
Yeah.
But that's for another story. we're talking about figures here this afternoon. So, what figures did you have then? What was the
I would say
collection
my
about?
very first actual collectible figure would be an Android Batman.
Okay.
Remember Armored Batman from the BVS movie?
Yes.
Yeah,
of
I have
course.
that Android figure.
I mean, I know the armored Batman from the. Actually, I have one. I have a Atomica version. I'll show you. It's in my car, but I'll show
Was
you
it
later.
from the old comic? From the Frank Miller?
I think it's already from the Batman vs Superman. I'm not sure, but I got that with that little Deadpool figure as well. It's just a tiny figure, but
I have the Armored Batman.
No, the Frank Miller. That's where it started,
Frank
right?
Miller,
The Frank
yeah.
Miller
Yeah.
Dark Knight Returns graphic novel. So you started with that. That was the first.
Yeah, that was the first.
Like legit, like.
Yeah, that was the first legit actual collectible figure. I would say, based on, collectible in the sense that, it falls into a certain price range.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and
It's a
it has
Japan
this-
import.
And the detail is crazy.
Yeah.
Right? Because I think, some of the figures that came out before that, because I started with Masters of the Universe, I started with G.I. Joe and all that. Those things were not really super detailed. They were not like accurate, in terms of the figure itself, and the possibility, the articulation
The
is not.
accessories.
Not the accessories. Now you have extra hands, extra
Yeah.
faces, and
You
all
have to
that.
have extra, everything.
Yes.
Erasable
and
parts and whatnot.
So your collection is very varied. We'll show you
Very chop suey.
during the course of this conversation. We'll show you that he has a collection from like a movie line. There's a comic book line. There's a anime line. There's a video game line, which is you obviously have mostly superheroes, though, right?
Yeah.
The bulk of your collection is mostly superheroes. So, and both DC and Marvel.
Mostly DC.
Mostly
some
DC.
Marvel, yeah, some Marvel.
Okay, so mostly because of Batman and Superman. Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm very basic, dude.
and I know. I mean, no. Honestly, though, if you talk about DC characters, it's Batman and Superman.
Yeah.
I'm a Batman guy, but like when it comes to DC characters, it's just Batman. Even with my comic book collection, I collected mostly just Batman stuff.
It's in the name. DC means Detective Comics.
Yes.
So DC Comics is quite repetitive, but
That's
it is
right.
what it is.
That's right. So let's start with one.
Okay.
And I think you're going to be sharing one of my favorites as well amongst your collection, but let's start with this one.
Oh, so let me share a story. Back in 2021,
Okay.
I acquired COVID,
Oh,
and it was a very difficult time in my life. So that's why I have this figure at the moment. I just needed to have this because I think it's the best thing that's ever happened to the Star Wars
So
franchise.
this is a MAFEX?
Yeah, that's a MAFEX.
Okay, MAFEX is
It's made by Medicam Toy.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a Japanese,
Oh, it's
import.
Japanese.
Yeah.
Wow.
Japanese
Because the
company.
packaging is very American. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very American. Like
Yeah.
even the logos that they use, it's
Because
very.
they have to appeal to the Western,
Yes. This is a sweet figure. You know why? It has Baby Yoda in it.
Yeah.
Anything with Baby
Yes,
Yoda
Grogu.
became like a thing, right?
game like thing.
It contributed in the popularity of Mandalorian so much. I mean, I have a younger sister and she got into it because of Baby Yoda. The cuteness factor of it, right? And of course, it made Pedro Pascal a household name, right? Made him a legit star. I mean,
You know what? Yeah, a lot of collectors wouldn't open their figure because they're afraid that it would lose
Value, all
over
that
time.
stuff,
But
yeah.
I collect figures because I want to play with them.
Yeah.
I think for me, that's my philosophy as an action figure
Wow.
collector. I want to open my figure and make the most.
I applaud
them.
you, man.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
applaud you. Some people buy like doubles, right? So they can
Yeah,
play with
yeah.
one and then they can just play one. Now, personally, for me, it's just they made the boxes and the packaging so nice that you don't want to open it anymore.
Well,
you know?
they have to justify the prices on these figures.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they have to make it appealing inside out.
So with MAFEX, what makes it stand out compared to, let's
What makes
say,
it stand
other
out
figure
is
brands
that
or makers?
I would say that's source accurate.
Okay.
Yeah, he looks exactly like he does in the
does.
show.
Yes.
And when you open it, you can see how immaculate the paint details are.
Okay.
And the articulation points are there. You can do whatever you want with it. As a collector, I would say that 112 is a standard size for action figures.
I mean, ideally for you, that would
Yeah,
be
ideally
the
for you.
best in terms of
Yeah,
like.
it's a universally accepted
Yes,
scale.
like okay, just I mean, I don't want to jump the gun, but this is also 112, right?
Yeah, that's 112. That's
So there. So this is a different. This is still a MAFEX figure, but you can get figures in other brands, but they will be in this like sort of standard size. So if you're going to start collecting figures, this is the size you would recommend.
Yes,
Not
that's
too
it.
big, not too small,
Yeah.
right? Big
Well,
enough to
because-
feature the details, but not too big to take up so much space.
The larger figures, 1/6 scales, 1/6 scale figures, they're kind of like dolls to me.
Dude, so this is a Hasbro figure.
Yeah, it's just that I can't get enough of the Mandalorian.
It's so nice. I know, but it's still
And I would
nice.
say
It's not a
that-
MAFEX figure, but if you compare both, are these both same versions of Mandalorian? Like, does he have different
This
suits?
is from
variants,
the
or-
Book of Boba Fett and Batman Hush.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this is from a series which was done by Jim Lee.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he wrote it as well, but I know obviously he did the art, right?
did the
'Cause
art.
Jim Lee is an artist, so a comic book artist. But this is a popular series.
And then this is a time when Batman still had his underwear outside.
yeah.
This was before New 52 run
Yes.
comics. It's during your time.
Yeah, I'm a
Kuya
lolo.
Rod.
I'm a lolo. Uncle Rod.
Yeah.
So yeah, I am. I come straight from the Dark Knight Returns.
The Fat Batman era.
Yeah, the Fat Batman there. This is such a groundbreaking thing. And the one scene that totally blew me away was the part when he had a showdown with Superman. So for those who think that it only happened during the movie, no, it happened way back in a graphic novel. And
That's where they took inspiration
yes,
for the movie.
yeah. And he had assistance from Green Arrow.
Green Arrow, yeah.
Where he fired the kryptonite.
Old Green Arrow with
Arrowhead.
an amputated
Yeah.
leg. Was it?
Yes, he was amputated. That's right, he was amputated. So, but yeah, it's his thing too. So there you go. But this particular Batman blew me away when I first saw Batman wearing the armor. I mean, you have to understand, guys. This came out mid '80s. It came out '84, I think.
Way before my time.
Yes, it came out
Way before it existed.
'80s, dude. I mean, for the people out there, you weren't even born yet. So, to see a Batman like this in comic book form during the '80s, it's so way ahead of its time. It's super futuristic, and that's what Frank Miller did. He broke new ground with Batman, made him a lot cooler, futuristic, gritty. The word gritty comes to mind, and if I'm not mistaken, Batman was like in his
That's why his
50s
name,
or
The Dark
50s.
Knight. That's when he was popularized as The Dark Knight.
Yes, that's when
Yeah,
it
yeah.
started.
Yeah,
That's when it started.
What's next?
Let's check one more
A
out.
lot here. Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Everybody loves Spider-Man.
Yes, this
Like-
one, dude. You're showing me all the stuff that have a connection to comics.
Yes.
Well, they all have connection to comics, but specifically the figures and the line that comes out. Like this one is the Todd McFarlane version of Spider-Man. Big eyes, slimmer, more
Super dynamic poses.
super dynamic poses.
As
yeah.
can be seen here in the back. That's Todd McFarlane art right there.
That's like straight out of the cover of
Created in plastic form.
Spider-Man 300 almost, if I'm not mistaken. And of course, the look of Peter Parker, and those poses, even the web. That's straight
Todd
out of
McFarlane.
Todd McFarlane.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
the way the web's done, that's Todd McFarlane art style right there. He sort of like did for Spider-Man what Frank Miller did for Batman. Very nice. Also MAFEX. And dude, I am impressed with your collection. You have
Thanks.
an amazing collection. I'm just glad I got out of the figure scene while I had the time.
Here's another one. This is a Ben Reilly version of Spider-Man. He's
Okay.
essentially a clone of Peter Parker. This is just one of those figures that, kind of melts your heart when you see it.
Yeah.
It kind of speaks to me, the design language and whatnot.
This is like
This is one of my holy grails.
would you say one of the more modern
Yeah.
Batman? I mean, he had a hoodie and stuff, so it's very millennial.
Yeah. It doesn't need that, but
Yeah.
styling
Yeah.
purposes, I guess.
Very cool. So this Scarlet Spider. So why is it one of your holy grails? Is it hard to find? Is it there's a story behind it, or the rarity of it?
It's just like,
It's more relatable to you.
it's not relatable in any way.
Okay.
It's just one of those figures that you fall in love with because of the design.
Got it.
And it's Spider-Man.
It is.
Yeah,
it
yeah.
is. Got it.
It is.
That's
I
beautiful.
just know that I can do a lot of crazy things with it.
Yeah, and I
And
like.
by the way, it's got alternate feet.
Oh
It
wow!
has
Yeah,
magnetic
yeah.
parts,
It
so
does,
you
it
can.
does.
Yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah.
So it
Hands
sticks.
and feet.
Oh wow!
You can put on a fridge if you want.
Oh nice. So
Yeah.
so you don't have to snap it together.
You don't
It
have to
just-
snap it.
Oh, that is so cool. Look at this. That's so awesome. This is the Scarlet Spider.
Speaking of
I
metallic
love the
figures,
color theme.
This one has die-cast parts. It's, Nemesis Prime.
This is
Created,
awesome.
made by
This
30.
looks so
It's
awesome.
from an MDLX line that they made.
Oh my god, this is like it's like me being in a wonderland. I mean, I'm a kid again. This is the stuff that I would only dream about. Like if they didn't have these figures before when I was younger, and the coolest thing back then was just the Gen 1 Transformers and Masters
This is
of the
actually
Universe
G1 inspired.
and G.I. Joe,
Yeah.
but this one is so
G1
freaking
inspired with a
cool.
modern take.
Oh my god, just the packaging alone.
I would say that the MDLX line for the Transformers is G1 inspired
Holy cow.
figures.
All right, still with Chris on the Rodcast podcast, talking about action figures, crazy collection that this man has, and of course the crazy cost that comes with it. And I personally believe na walang lalaking walang bisyo. Lahat ng lalaki may bisyo. But if it's therapeutic for you, like you
Yes,
said,
it
it's a
is.
form of escapism for
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
It's a form of, nostalgia for you. It's also like you're at the stage in your life where if you were a lot younger, you would just be salivating over these figures and say, "Oh, I wish I had." And now you can
Yes.
afford it. You have a job. You deserve it.
Collecting these figures is what helps me, not go crazy with all the responsibilities
Oh,
that I have
that's
to.
that's nice,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
You deserve that, then. You deserve that. I envy you, but at the same time, I appreciate what you've amassed. It's like mainggit because, well, I wish I had that. But
Yeah.
the thing with me is like, if I know people who have cool stuff that I never acquired, and I'm fortunate enough to be able to hold it and look at it in detail, like you've allowed me to do, dude, I'm happy already. Because like I wouldn't see these things in stores unless I go to Manila or go online or go abroad, right? A lot of this stuff, dude, like you find that in
these are
Hong
import
Kong.
figures.
Those are import
Yeah.
figures. Those are not Toy Kingdom figures.
I like to keep a balance between spending my money on these things and what I really need to be spending my money on.
Yes.
You have to be realistic about what you can afford.
Yes.
At the end of the day, these are just luxury items.
That's
You don't
true.
need them.
Yes.
And I've learned the hard way that what you don't have, you don't really need.
Yes.
Yeah, it's okay to appreciate things from a distance
That's good.
until maybe one day you can afford it.
That's good.
Don't make impulse decisions when you're buying.
Yeah, it's funny that you only realized that after amassing this collection. Dude, thanks for sharing some of your
It's
collection.
been my pleasure.
I'm gonna try to narrow this down into something that's easier to digest, but as much as possible, we would like to let people in on the different hobbies that Davao folks are into.